This is Westphalen by night. Westphalen is a city that straddles the Pamlico, better known locally as the Tar, like a drunkard trying to maintain its upright position. Working against the equilibrium of the city are the vast quantity of kindred who stalk the night. Adding to its rampant crime is disappearing persons and its seedy underbelly, which the locals take great pride in. Westphalen is a city that does. What it does is no one's business. After all, no one hangs out their laundry for the neighbors to see. But in this particular city, in this particular place, in the Duncern County region of North Carolina, what happens in the dark, well, if you're lucky, stays there. And so we'll tell a vampire tale with the kindred of Westphalen.
I see.
That being the case, so that you guys are fully aware, before we dive all the way in, like we're getting way past the top of the hairline, are there any questions, suggestions, or hypotheses that we need to address? Are there any corners we need to round off?
So, how many stains am I allowed to accrue in this voice session? Because I've already got a few.
Oh, sweet Jesus, Darius. Motherfucker.
Oh, don't worry. You will have a significant opportunity to increase your collection of stains.
That's not my intent. Okay, well, that's the answer I get. What are you looking at, Cotton? Fucking judging up there.
Well, we like to be helpful. So, without further ado and without further delay, I'd like to welcome you all to Westphalen by Night. This is my third actual live play with members of our server. There is a lot of things that happen in Westphalen. It is a capital unto itself as far as the perniciousness of crime. And in fact, the average person in Westphalen takes pride in the fact that no one snitches, no one tells, because the graveyard is filled with people who knew and decided to open their mouths. And Westphalen is not what you do, but how you do it. And in the course of one shining week, the keeper of Carmelita Nielsen's library has plotted the assassination of the Hounds of the Tower, the sheriff, and began the first steps toward an actual coup attempt by those other members of the tower. They sought to replace what they saw as the greatest evil of the tower, a tarnishing of its gleaming ideals. And in the attempt, in risking it all, they literally put it all on the line and bet on 00. Unfortunately, as any gambler will tell you, that is not only a fool's bet, but a sucker's bet. In the fallout of their gambit falling away like dominoes knocked over by an unruly child, they took flight. Sadly, 3 can keep a secret solely if 2 are dead. And in their flight from justice, they forgot the most pressing matter of escape. Tell no one. Reveal nothing. Disappear into the night. And in their love for humanity, in their wish to be something more than the predatory monster that they are, in a want to seem human, they forgot that they were in fact a creature of the night, that the ability to slip from people's memories and to slip from their view was well within their grasp. Instead, they took the most obvious escape route. They fled through the sewers, ignoring all of the waste and spillover from Westphalen's many restaurants and the denizens who eat there, alighting into an Uber and taking all due speed north. The driver, an experienced hand, a former actual taxi driver, someone who proudly displays, even in their rental Uber car, the shield from their former taxi, the shield from their former cab. They know all of the back roads and all of the main streets, but hearing and being pressed with a significant donation of cash, they take the quickest, most expedient route out of the city. They dare to hop on the round, the 17 north, to escape Westphalen. So with that understanding, we turn our gaze towards Cotton. It has been a very long time since you've been part of a posse. It's been a very long time since you've had anyone to count on to hold your ideals, save yourself. Even in this modern age, there is but one man to the job, and that is a person who understands both the light and the dark. And that, good sir, leaves you on the chase. You have the idea of the make and model roughly. You have an idea as to where they're heading, which is all points due away. And as painful as it is, as many cameras are linked to the expressway system, as many eyes could fall upon you, it is very important that Emmy does not make an escape from the city. Would you be so kind as to roll your survival and drive?
No physical?
No, you're behind the wheel of the car. You don't need an attribute for this. This is literally your ability to maneuver through the traffic and get there as quickly as possible. If you miss by more than 2, there won't be other consequences. But right now, just do your best.
I just gotta find the fucking nice channel again.
If I may, nobody?
Sure, set a deal.
No, I was just gonna suggest maybe dexterity survival. Because usually it's a physical attribute and a skill.
There's a reason for his call.
I know, I'm just making the suggestion.
Okay. He is trying to be stealthy, but he's not trying to be reckless, so stealth makes sense. It's the survival part that I don't know. Oh. Wait, you said survival and drive, right?
Yes, sir.
Survival. God, he misses his horse.
You could definitely teach a horse a thing or 3.
Come on, Cotton. You know you want to use that willpower. Even one more success could help you here.
Hold on, I forgot something. Yeah, no, that's right.
One of the first things Cotton did when he touched down in Westphalen was scout the lay of the land. The fact that the city is, well, torn asunder, is split in 2, technically 3, because Wolfram himself is surrounded by various levees and waterways. So the city is a tale told in several parts. Its beating heart, of course, being Lockwood, sitting in the tainted middle of it all. It's no man's land surrounded by the Pamlico. The Round was a marvel of technological design. It was one of the first of its kind, a super highway built to incorporate and flow with the various waterways that threatened on multiple occasions to wash Westphalen out to sea. Unfortunately, in that understanding of the lay of the land, the very real traffic is its own beast was not in consideration. There has been an accident, a spillage, a truck overturned, a slew of looky-loos unable to move forward for want of capturing a glimpse as to exactly how bad the accident was. In the doing and trying to find a way around, Cotton finds himself on a frontage road speeding alongside of the Round. There are several places where the frontage roads and causeways crisscross and map a second path along the Round's path north. Unfortunately for him, this frontage road will not connect back to the I-17 for several miles, giving Emmy and their driver several opportunities to pull off, to escape, and that is the most frustrating aspect, as he has to get ahead to backtrack. And speaking of backtracking, Darius, word spreads fast, as all things do. Gossip and rumor and hints and allegations and all of those little things that affect perception are matters that he holds very personal, because through a whisper, one can topple a kingdom or crown a new king, or, for lack of a better word, find all the necessary hooks and paths of egress into another's mind, into their soul, into their heart. With the right whispers, you can change the course of someone's entire life. And so, completing his therapy session with his most beloved patient, and having thanked his associates, the movers and handyman that came along to assist with wrapping things up and making sure that all things were as they belonged, in his efforts to plant the correct amount of whispers, it does not miss his ears that there is a criminal on the way, taking flight from justice. And despite all of his actions to be nothing more than a positive influence on the tower itself, he knows that he is socially behind the 8 ball. He needs something to which he can hook his wagon, a star to guide him by, to hide from all of the social stigma of being as he is believed to be. And knowing where they are and where they might alight would be a value that he could only dare to dream of having.
I see. Well then, figuring out where Emmy is going. I do have some people I can call or other means of figuring this out, but I think the easiest to go through right now would be my contact. Unless, of course, you, the storyteller, have any suggestions as per this.
Oh, definitely. There are always suggestions. There's always whispers. And someone as easily and well connected as to have a network of blank identity individuals working for them most assuredly would have a connection with the traffic bureau.
Oh, good suggestion indeed. Then, while I have these gentlemen, or have they already gone, in which case I would simply give a call, I will contact Angela Karen. See what I can barter for the tracing of a certain red vehicle.
As the phone rings, there is that impatience that is part of the normal modern day society. How dare they not answer immediately? What is unknown is that typically when you are connecting to someone, the phone is actually ringing on their end at a delayed pace from what it sounds like on your side. So while for you it's been 4 rings, for the other end of the line it's only been 2, sometimes 1. And in this case, as it gets to the 5th ring, the line opens. Good night, Herr Hussien.
Ah, good evening. Am I speaking to Angela?
That is correct. How might I help you?
Well, I would like a favor if you have the capacity to fulfill one.
Of course, but at this hour of the evening, it would be most official between us. Is this okay?
That is perfectly fine.
Very good. Your request.
The location of a red Chevy Impala from 2012, license plate number FMJ-4347. Last spotted going northbound on I-17.
That is a very detailed description. A few moments, if you will. And the line goes dead. And while that call ends relatively abruptly as Angela Corinne begins working what magic she has over the system, calling in favors and reaching out, making all manner of requests. There is an unsettling thing that, even as far removed from the bulk of sect politics that Darius is immediately aware of, someone such as that, with that amount of potential ability, would most assuredly have various responsibilities to deliver such information to others who may not be in the exact same camp.
There's always risks when working with my favorite type of people.
And speaking of your favorite type of people, right at this moment, Cotton has found a way back onto the correct northbound lane to escape Westphalen, having circumvented the crash, the accident, whatever it was that caused the rubbernecking and the delays, and literally throwing mud in his eye as he chases and hunts down a breach. Not a breach of the masquerade, but a breach of his trust, a breach of his ideals. Emmy had managed to worm their way into the very halls of power. They didn't have a voice, but witnessing a thing gave one knowledge. And knowledge, as much as people like to toss it around, is not power in and of itself if one does not understand how to utilize that knowledge. The question now remains as Connor eases from lane to lane, moving between the traffic like a man on a hunt, which is exactly what he is. What will he do with the knowledge that he has? He knows what Emmy has in her head, or at least a portion of it.
Well, Cotton is just livid in his car. Because when he talked to Emmy, Emmy was making every indication she was going to live up to some level of honor in the whole thing. And then she rabbited, leaving him holding a rather precarious bag as thanks. So he's on a 3-pronged mission right now. Catch her for Savine. Try to figure out how to give Nathan some of the credit and not beat Nathan into the ground for missing this opportunity to teach Cotton a little more about this whole Boone's blackmail thing that he was supposed to be learning this whole fucking time because his pecker got in his head. He's a little twisted. But he's still an old hand at the posse work, and he has been driving around all of the city for a while. And he knows I-17 goes out the north, and that the city cameras kind of peter out. He'd prefer this to happen not under the visual scanning of the local kind, so he wants them to run out. So a little bit of a lead actually works into his favor, but he knows he has to make up distance because of the whole kind looky-loo annoyance. So coming out of Hurston, finding an on-ramp onto I-17, he's going to be headed north. The actual paper map, not the bullshit Google thing, is going to be laid on the passenger seat. He's going to be looking for rest stops or turnoffs that could lead to some place where Emmy might get another conveyance. He doesn't know whether Emmy can drive or not, but the fact that she took an Uber would say probably not. So she would have to go. She would have to drop off for another car someplace where a driver would be available, or she's going to have to leg it. So he's doing not ridiculous speeds, but a little fast up the highway, but keeping an eye out for burning vehicles or parked vehicles off the side of the road. And in straightaways where he's more alone, he's peeking at the map looking for little townlets that she might have jumped off left or right to. But he's being his primary thing is catch up, don't get caught, don't crash. So he's not doing anything crazy yet. Crazy comes when he finds her.
Would you be so kind of go ahead and roll your wits plus drive at this point? Your DC is 2 because you know the exact vehicle and you were given the license plate.
Hold on, I'm looking at the wrong screens here. Still wish I had a fucking horse. Anytime I can throw in rapid reflexes, just let me know.
Oh no, I got you. You're well within. And here's the beautiful thing about being an old hand at chasing down targets, because that's literally what a posse was. It was a fox hunt for people, oftentimes with bullets and blood being the only payment. Cotton has a near sixth sense into the mind of criminals. He also understands the side of right, or at least the side of law. And that gives him a specific perception when it comes to what might or might probably happen. He is aware that by all rights, an Uber driver would not transport a person from one city to the next. By all rights, there would be need for an additional vehicle. By all rights, but Emmy is a fugitive. The moment they pull over, the moment that the driver says this is as far as they go, what would a desperate person do?
Not knowing what Emmy can do, but being able to guess a couple things. She'd stow away, or she would extort a ride. So I would be looking for a truck stop, train yard, or people in a rest stop screaming.
And at that point, it hits him like lightning. He immediately takes the very next exit off to backtrack 2 exits, because there is a huge truck stop, or a town that is built around the idea of a truck stop. There are several gas stations. You saw several little out of the way diners. There's a Cane's, there's a DQ, there's all manner of quick fix, quick fast food services available. It's exactly the sort of place where you might be able to find a vehicle to stow away in. You might be able to find or coerce, or hell, just outright steal a vehicle that no one would be any the wiser that you were in. Cursing under his breath as he wheels through the side roads and backtracks and doubles across, comes to a stop at the Pilot. There are roughly 35 trucks, big rig, 16-wheelers, over the road, long haul, and a absolute miasmic number of cars traveling. Because while North Carolina is a beautiful country, its winters are deadly. It's slide, rain, muddy season, which you are well in the middle of, even more so. So taking all the precautions in the world, stopping to rest and to unjangle the nerves from the slick roads, the many crashes and accidents, is exactly what the average normal person is doing. His car idling almost as angrily as he is. What in the absolute fuck? Where would you begin as a Nosferatu who could disappear from sight? What's the most likely?
Cotton's going to be looking for trucks that the doors are ajar or that have open beds with maybe animal haulers or industrial haulers that are hauling cars. And then among the cars, he's going to be looking for people standing around confused. He's going to be looking for, once again, open doors that seemingly have no reason. Basically, he's going to be looking for bolt holes that somebody who could turn themselves invisible but has problems interacting with the world. Evidence of that kind of activity, or places where they could go where that activity could be more well hidden.
Excellent. And on foot, or is he going to idly move slowly in his Ford up and down the various lanes?
Well, the Ford is going to offer him the advantage of speed. So he's going to do one pass in the Ford, marking likely targets, and then he's going to start walking loudly. Because one thing you can always count on a scared predator doing is twitching when a strong predator walks by. He's got his jacket button closed and Adeline in the offside holster, so it's riding high.
And speaking of riding high, as Cotton does his security patrol, it doesn't take long for the phone to vibrate and then begin ringing in Darius's hand. The number clearly emblazoned, letting him know that it is in fact the Deputy Baron Angela Corinne.
Almost impatiently, with a kind of anxiety behind it, he'll click the phone open. Hi, Darius speaking. Take it you got back to me on the information?
Yes, in a manner of speaking, Rufus is waiting for you at the van around the corner. If you would arrange your speed as quickly as possible, they can take you as close as we have arranged. There will be in 2.5 minutes an accident blocking the I-17, keeping the flow north to a trickle. We can place you ahead of that accident if you wish.
I am never a man to say no to help. Thank you very much.
Would you be so kind as to roll your composure and resolve for me, please?
Will do, Captain. Oof, this is bad.
How do you think I feel about a wits roll?
Do I have the capacity to rouse for this?
Sure, of course, always.
All right. That's exactly what I expected. All right. That hunger applies to this check or the next check?
The next check.
6 success, messy, critical.
In tempting the beast, there is strength. There is a power that vibrates through you as the beast bolsters your intent toward success. It grants you its strength, but there is a cost. That whispering voice at the back of your head that normally you're able to ignore, like background music at a bar that plays some version of today's pop music. Normally, it's just an ever-present droning. But in moments such as this, when there is fame, when there is security, when there is potential fortune on the line, it raises in volume. First, just minorly annoying, and then outright talking, cajoling, threatening to the point where it is distractive. It's distraction granting you the mental stability to survive the roller coaster ride that is a mad, already dead legally individual who cares not one whit for his fellow man, woman, or child. Rufus and the boys are in fact far more monstrous than the average kindred. They have been, by dint of love of death, the love of causing pain, and the ability to see it through, drafted into an army of the living, walking dead. They are ghosts given flesh. They are impulse control with no boundaries. And so as they literally floor it, the van rocking left and right on shocks and springs not designed to move at this speed, even though the vehicle is capable. There is a suggested maximum speed limit for safe travel and egress. In matters of stress or an emergency, of course, you floor it and take your chances. But this is not a moment of emergency. Not for them. They are literally depositing a delivery, which is Darius. And they are driving as if they not only stole the vehicle, but own the entirety of the road. Their recklessness is enough to even give Kindred pause, because Kindred understand what motor vehicles actually are. It is literally you strapping yourself to a combustive machine of potential explosion. You are strapped to a vehicle that is powered by fuel that at the wrong turn, at the wrong impact, it's not going to be something out of a movie or a book where it goes sky high, but fire is the outcome. And fire is nothing more than the sun's little brothers and cousins, and that's the surefire way that your immortality comes to a rousing end. You manage to not hold on to the seat. You manage to not scream or sit open wide as they come within inches of colliding with other vehicles. No, your mind focuses on the fact that they are guaranteed to attract the attention of the police. And your beast speaks. They are already dead. If you push them out of the vehicle at this speed, their death will be assured. They don't have any of their doors locked. They are not using any seatbelts, and their actions could stand in direct opposition to your potential success.
Wonderful words of wisdom. Except we're going like 120 miles an hour down the road, and pushing one of them out the door leads to me being in an empty car going 100 miles down the road.
So you restrain yourself.
If I must, I shall, because I cannot contain this vehicle zipping down the road at that speed.
Darius can't drive either, can he?
Oh, no. No, not at all. He's a Sunday driver.
That being the case, with your life on the line, with you having the wherewithal to understand that you need them to deposit you there, would you be so kind as just spend the willpower to not act on your temporary sense of self-preservation?
I would be more than happy to.
Excellent. You force the beast down. You force it to not act. And luckily for them, even though they are unaware as to how close they are to actual permanent, real, actual death, not just entities with no database information on them, you find yourself at a little town just a little bit north. Is actually technically the next town to be potentially annexed, which in North Carolina means that you've already covered just under 47 miles down the northeastern tributary from the Pamlico, where it literally becomes nothing more than a creek you can step across in many places. They stop at a truck stop. You can get a ride from here, Bubba. And you know that you didn't see them drinking, drugging, or otherwise, but the sheer adrenaline of risking their lives and the lives of everyone else on the road has left them in an inebriated sense of invulnerability. They feel the chemical effects of that adrenaline release. They feel as if they are inebriated because they are so high on those endorphins.
I will step out of the van, hiding the fact that it's a little shakily, and approach the driver's side window and, well then, good luck and whatever the hell it is she's got you doing next.
Oh, there's a rape we're gonna get to. He's gonna enjoy it.
Wonderful. Have lots of fun. Ta-ta.
And you expect the ramshackle bursting of smoke and the shaking of the van, but they pull off as if they are newly created parents. They just picked up their child from the hospital. They want to make sure that the drive home is as peaceful as possible. They drive literally as if they have Miss Daisy in the back and she's yelling at them about getting down to the Piggly Wiggly. The care and lack of speed is the definition of an insult.
I was about to say the same fucking thing. Glad that they got me here speedily. But, you know, speed is sometimes appreciated, and other times you're rolling down the highway in a ball of death in C4. But
was that what had brushed against your leg? The little blob of clay-like substance that was moving around the car?
Fuck. Okay, we're just gonna not look a gift horse in the mouth. They said I can pick up a ride from here, but they didn't say where to.
You gotta love the difference between political, strategic, and tactical planning. There's a hand afoot here. Someone is manipulating things, and that much is clear. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus subterfuge?
But this I actually have a dice pool for. Although I'm pretty sure I've already guessed the whole message behind it. Wow! Okay. I think that right there is deserving of my last willpower for the week.
Yes, go with a smile.
There we go. Much more effective. Fuck, that was depressing.
Hey, look, it's cotton shooting. I mean, sorry.
Not quite. The worst thing that could possibly happen to someone who's well thought out and planned, someone who thinks ahead and has a strategy for every situation, a situation for every strategy, someone who has spent the bulk of their lives manipulating and being manipulated by the world around them. How the fuck did she know? How the fuck would they know which truck stop?
Gotcha.
Emmy has made friends and associates across all manner of boundaries, despite their statements otherwise. Emmy existed in the home of local knowledge, the very written down griot of the history and histories of Westphalen. Is there a chance that in their board reading they found access to the Karaoke network? Is there a chance that underneath their mad dash there was some semblance of strategy? And the answer is quite obvious. As you look at the sign, the Pilot restaurant, with all the trucks gathered around and it being a hub for people to pull off the road, get something hot. Maybe not great for them, but hot and protein laden. It is a center of travel. You, much like Westphalen itself, it is a center of commerce and sees far more people than one would expect for a little sleepy town in the middle of nowhere. The exact sort of place where drug deals and gun deals and exchanging of people and blood bags and all manner of illicit and illegal activities will happen, because who knows who's a stranger and who lives within 10 miles of this place? No one. Just a sea of people. Or better yet, to be more accurate, just grains of sand in the desert. nothing would stand out here because no one knows what normal is.
Gotcha. Well, then if they're attempting to access some kind of anarch coyote net, then my best option would be to try and find whoever it is they are looking to chauffeur them out. And the only real avenue that I have for that would be, and this is going to be a bit regrettable given that we're at a truck stop, but may I activate heightened senses to increase my sense of smell and try and filter as much as I can out, looking for the scent of dried blood or freshly spilled. Because no matter how hard you actually work towards it, no matter how much effort you put in it, that will stick with you for a good long while. And kindred are intrinsically something that bathe in blood.
Which means I'm going to go ahead and roll your wits plus awareness plus your heightened senses. If you are less than successful, meaning you need a 3, you will reap the benefits of taking in all of that lovely odoriferous bouquet around you.
Understood.
Deep inhale of diesel fuel, cheap food, and sweaty humans. Good luck.
Now, if I'm taking a bit more time than just a singular huff, could I justify investigation rather than awareness in this?
You can take half of your wits and awareness and not bother with the roll. And what is that?
Wits awareness plus or minus the
with heightened senses, yes.
With heightened senses, that is 2.
Oh my goodness.
I would be more than willing to make the roll.
Yes, we will give you the benefit of the doubt here, and you may use investigation instead of awareness.
Not to throw a big bottle of ice water on you, but there's still blood in the trunk of the Ford.
Yeah, which means I'm probably gonna find you too, Cotton. Don't you worry. the anarch coyote that's getting her out of here. All right, I will be a fucking moron because this is a very important moment right now, and test my luck with the beast if you would allow me so.
Of course. I say we do.
Of course, a fucking course. So that's a failure on that, and you said the difficulty is 3 on this check.
Yes.
Solid. Wits, awareness, plus my heightened senses, and rouse is going to be 7 dice, 2 hunger, 3 difficulty. Yes! 4 successes.
There are things that you wish that you didn't know about the various humanoid entities around you. And I say humanoid because, in matter of fact, there's no way you can bathe in that much sweat and not be the pig that you've seen. And as the man trundles past you smelling of elephant balls, you realize just how disgusting some humanoids can actually be. You know for a fact that he's been in that shirt for at least 17 hours, all of which has been bathed in the lovely slickness of his flop sweat. You also know that he's carrying roughly half a key in his back pocket. The ability to pick out details of the illicit, to scent the blood, you realize how close, in fact, blood is to various other of the human humors. How its base is in every facet of life. Following your nose, as the saying goes, you find yourself moving from trailer to trailer to trailer to trailer. And so caught up in the scent of blood to find the most recent, the freshest semblance of it. It being something that kindred naturally carry on their person, something that would draw the eye and attention of nearly every kindred, even in just passing. You find yourself before an open trailer. It's inside stacked high with crates of various sizes, all wood, all nailed together to keep someone from opening them. And then the flashing bright, nearly blinding highlights of a car creeping past you at just over 2 miles an hour. It takes everything you can to not respond to the sudden spots dancing just inside your closed eyes as you step to the side.
Cotton, you prick. Okay, so I've identified that there is now a car beaming its headlights at me. This is Cotton, correct? Because if so, he would recognize me before I recognize him, given that I would be looking into the face of God, should I try.
And just like that, as you completed 3 of your planned 4 circuits through the lot to find the open vehicles and give a quick check before you decide to inspect them on foot, Darius, the fucking legend, is standing in front of an open trailer, his head down as if he's in a silent moment of contemplation, his eyes closed. He's clearly at prayer or maybe having a meditative moment, but the fact that he is outside of Westphalen, there are some signs that everything in the world is completely and totally wrong.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, seeing me anywhere is probably a sign that something is wrong, so nobody is right on this.
Cotton swears prolifically for a couple
I am prolific.
as he spins the wheel and dips the car into the nearest parking spot, whether it was supposed to be for a semi-truck or not. But he parks it ass out so that a trucker would see it. I don't want the Ford to accidentally be parked into by 40 tons of U.S. commerce. And gets out of the car and slowly... So Cotton was in a firefight, still wearing the clothes from the firefight. The car has blood in the trunk. And Adeline has blood on her grip. Just so we have a full picture of what Darius' heightened senses is about to be assailed with.
I have been assailed enough. At this point, it's kicking the dead horse.
And I smell like gun oil. Like, a lot.
Well, I can track you, I hope you know.
Oh yeah, track me. As your heightened sense of smell is distracting you from everything else, the sound of a very gentle Texas drawl, swearing in French and English, slowly gets louder in your peripheral hearing. He's sending fucking amateurs to do a real man's job. Son of a bitch, where the fuck is Connor? Where's Tora? Goddamn, fucking Darius, really? This is the one they send?
As the blinding light is getting more manageable, I assume you've turned your headlights off at this point, or are they still on?
No, I parked the car, so...
Oh, beautiful. As I'm coming back into my visual prowess, just kind of rubbing my eyes with one hand, I'll give a slight wave with the other, and just to give a full picture of Darius, he is not really put together right now. It looks like he was pieced together because he was recently in the back of the mystery mobile, like on the 7th Fat Blunt Inn, just speeding down the highway about 10 minutes ago. So he looks nothing like the professional individual that you're normally accustomed to, and he himself is also decorated in a bit of blood. Fancy that. He'll just... Yes, the amateurs who got here before you. Hey, how's it doing, Cotton?
Well, it would seem that your informational network is as good as my 100 years of skill.
Says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're lazy, that's what it says. Damn it. Use your own feet. But
yeah.
It means that you have found exactly the kind of thing that we might need to investigate. And Cotton is looking at the open back of the truck going, When a squirrel needs a nut, he will go to a tree, won't he?
I'm sure. Hey, if you want to go investigate in there, be my guest. I'll shut the door right behind you.
Well, I would appreciate some assistance in actually seeing things, but I suppose if I go in there and spook the little thing, you would have some ability to ferret out if she gets past me. These little Nosferatu are not given to direct confrontation.
Yeah, that's why I said we should shut the door and probably,
Because the brave psychologist is unwilling or unable to get into a closed box with a scared rabbit.
Well, I mean, we could always just, throw fire in there and let the wood do its work.
I would like to perform the function given to me by my betters in something less than a masquerade breaching type of situation. Let us
Arson is a masquerade breach. I do have some perceptive abilities, yes, but the time is of essence.
Yeah, so I'll go in
Yeah.
and try to figure this out. Anybody who comes up to the truck asking questions, are you able to handle such a situation? Your people skills are not unimpressive, but this might get loud.
Oh, it definitely is loud. One of the things that people fail to realize is that trailers are actually a lot larger, a lot more cacophonous than they need to be, and even dampened with the number of crates and trailers and crates and boxes that have been assembled inside. Your voices have been echoing off the inside of the trailer.
Oh, I'm fully aware.
Darius kind of ignored it because even with the residual effects of his heightened senses, everything is a little bit louder than it should be. And the inside of a 53-foot long trailer is a massively dark tunnel with no way out save the way that you entered. The fact that there has been echoing means that the entirety of it is not in fact filled with cargo. But that leaves God knows what number of feet and space available for God knows number of individuals that may actually be inside. 53 feet, and the average person on a travel needs about 6 square feet of space, meaning you could have any number of individuals cowering, hiding inside this particular trailer. God forbid if they have the ability to remain invisible to sight. There's nothing you would be able to do in that darkness save be their victim.
So, you're gonna go in there and spook them out. That's your plan.
Well, the unfortunate truth is that is what I do.
Okay. I'll put out there that the idea of throwing fire into the trailer full of wood was presented. I wish you much luck.
Yeah, some of us actually need evidence of the deed, not just...
Oh, they'll get out of there like a bat out of hell.
Do either of you all have animalism?
I have a...
Excellent. Would you be so kind as to roll your wits in animalism?
I didn't say I had a lot. Hold on. I'm gonna take a second.
Now, given that I brought up shutting the door, can I shut this fucking door while we're talking?
Of course.
Alright, I'll fucking close the door.
You begin squeaking the door closed and realize that it's far heavier than it should be.
Oh god.
That is not a problem, considering that even being heavier than it should be, it is in fact on a hinge. But there's a tactical reason why a door has to be reinforced. There's got to be a tactical reason why it's not the standard, 1x2 door that most other trailers have, just to keep it closed. Why would someone reinforce a door that can only be open from the outside?
Okay, so I rolled the animal kin. I surged my wits. I'm sick of getting my ass kicked like that. But the two thoughts I have for Animal Ken. First of all, he said the word bat, so that immediately makes me change my mindset from hunting living prey to hunting animal prey. So, kindred trapped in a box with two predators outside is thinking fast, probably not well. The other thing is talking loud outside the box is deliberate for him because his plan was to rabbit Emmy regardless. That was his original intent, was to just wander around and be scary and get her to make a mistake. So now he's in a position where he thinks the mistake is going to happen. So that's where his brain is at.
And while you've been talking, very low, you've been hearing this, and it's gotten louder and louder and closer. And it's been echoing slightly off the inside of the box. It's been echoing off the sides of the trailer, mixing with your conversation. First, a little whisper and the sounds of scritching, and followed by that noise coming from elsewhere, outside, around you, from beneath the wheels of the truck, from across the small space between you and the next line of trucks behind where you're parked. And it's a noise that those who live in the outside world will ignore. It's just rats going about their business, hunting each other, waging war, one colony against the next, seeking food or worse. But it is a sound that you know. It is a sound that you recognize.
Shit.
It is the sound of a colony of rats at war. Or at least riling themselves for war. As the most human-like rodents that there are, rats, in fact, behave quite similarly when there's too many in an area. And you were saying, Darius?
So my understanding is the reason why it's reinforced, and the reason why it can only be opened from the outside, and the reason why it's extraordinarily squeaky, and we now have a horde of rats coming in to attack us, is to force us into the box so we can be fucking locked in there.
Please put the script down.
So Cotton rolled the check. Does Cotton make Darius aware of the fact that there are now angry fucking rats approaching?
Oh yeah. It will become apparent when he draws Adeline.
Okay. Darius will let him know, hey, by the way, don't get in the fucking box. And the moment that that Cotton is not looking at Darius and not paying attention to Darius, can I attempt Cloak of Shadows?
You always can.
Am I being perceived currently?
There's but one way to find out, and this is for it to fail or for it to be successful. Now, in this particular case, just to paint the scene for you all, you are standing in front of a 53-foot long 16-wheeler. It is a truck that you have realized in the last few moments of trying to close the door that has been reinforced and is only able to be opened from the outside, yet it is currently sitting open in the pilot back lot where the trucks have parked, where the truck drivers are technically inside getting something hot or delivering something hot, as the case may be, depending on which lounge lizard they found themselves in prey of. In the darkness around you, moving up out of the shadow as if they are what they actually are, a colony on the march, are roughly about 60 beady little reflective eyes, catching the wan light from the pilot roughly 35 yards from where you're standing. That little bit of light that filters between the trucks and slides along underneath things catches the filament at the back of their eyes, causing it to reflect red. And their angry squeaks and squeals grow louder as the sound and pitter patter of hundreds of little feet you realize are running the distance to you, like something out of Braveheart or In the Name of the King, some huge massive army that for them is an army that has not been raised in forever, but for you are a bunch of little fucking ankle biters. And even though there's no immediate fear of rats, there's no immediate fear of the slightly moist from their own sweat and the water and in the air around them, fur rubbing against yourself, there's definitely an ick factor as those long tails flail angrily as they rush as if they are charging into the most momentous battle of their lives. You can almost hear the lead rat screaming, "Gabra!" as they cover the distance inch by inch.
Yeah, so unfortunately, something about Cloak of Shadows that really, and most obfuscate, that really sucks is you don't perceive any real change in yourself.
Yep.
So if I'm not mistaken, I won't know whether or not I failed until these things fall upon me.
Yes.
Cotton reacts in Cotton fashion. Darius, you better find yourself some high ground.
When he turns around, am I there?
Stunningly, stylishly, even splattered in blood, and a little haggard from your trip, you stand bravely in the face of this massive army of roughly 50 rats who are determined to fight and win the day. Long will they tell the tale of the battle of the pilot in the open field on that jagged ground.
Well, the ones that I don't stomp into.
I will take that as a yes, nobody.
Cotton is looking directly at you. Like, there's no hint that he has not completely perceived your current existence.
Okay. I'm just gonna climb to the top of this trailer then. You have fun with whatever it is you're gonna do down here.
You just get your eyes open and look for that damn Emmy.
Not my specialty, seeing invisible things, but I will look for signs.
As you spout off, as is the nature of this buddy cop movie that we are a part of, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength and athletics as you climb up the side of the trailer? And
God, you fucking hate me, don't you?
And Cotton, as this sea of rats, this army, this largest army that has ever been raised for this particular colony of rats, marches towards their eventual victory, how are you choosing to dispatch them?
Cowboy boot.
Excellent. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength and brawl?
It's melee.
Oh, fucking thank you, God. Suffice to say, I roused for strength because otherwise I have one die, and all three came up successes. Oh. That was vicious. Like these fucking rats.
I am so glad I took the time and effort to eat that pawn shop owner, because between that and how much thirst loves me, I'm not gonna go crazy and eat a bunch of rats, which would be so gross.
Look, man, I also ate somebody recently. Unfortunately, my dumb ass had a few checks to make right afterwards.
Well, you know, these things happen. It's fine. You got this. You got this. You will not fall to the largest army ever raised for the Battle of the Jagged Earth here in the pilot.
So, this is just teaching me to never take the specialist tree again.
And as they come, as they issue their battle cries, and a few of them take a flying leap to try to leap higher and get the high ground, Cotton looks as if he is tap dancing, as if he has been possessed by the spirit of Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly combined with Gregory Hines. His feet are aflame, stomping, and the worst thing is that there's a percussive rhythm to it because there are so many rats here, and as his boot strikes the concrete through them, you hear not just the squelch and the pop of heads and the breaking of bones, but you hear them crying out as if they are being slaughtered by an enemy too vast and too strong. You hear those squeals and you almost understand them. Not like this! Take the giant! Squeak, 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 squeak.
For freedom!
And as the battle rages, and somehow, somewhere, the spirit of being a real life boy instead of a wooden therapist, Darius scrambles up the side of the trailer, a blur of dirty, dusty, dingy cloak, a trench coat clearly worn far too long, roughly about 10-15 years too long, so much so that it looks almost papery over the individual wearing it, leaps from the back of the trailer, just making it past the back line of the rat army that is falling to the greater, more technologically advanced foe that is Cotton's boots, and takes off across the parking lot.
Hey, right there!
Okay.
Do something about that.
I follow the finger. I'm assuming a finger is pointing.
I actually physically pointed IRL. I'm glad that you noticed that.
And taking everything that celerity has to offer and the dexterity of trying to run with rat guts all over my boots, bolt in that direction. Heedless of the rats that I am no doubt destroying in my passing, while they see it as the great final victory of my retreat. For me, it's Tuesday.
It is exactly that. There will be tales told, songs sung, mother rats mourning sons of previous broods. They will live this moment into immortality. The tales told, the rat-like statues erected to those who fought valiantly in the aid of an ally who called for their assistance, who summoned them through some strange magic of need. But for Cotton and Darius, their bodies make travel a little difficult. Annoying, to be exact, because even though you know your feet are covered and you won't get anything on you, you've been dead long enough that you know that you can't catch anything. The rumors as to what started the Black Plague is still present in your mind. The image of the rat as the plague carrier is very much real and true, especially rats who, well, look as if they swam through a river of blood, their broken limbs and bodies scattering and littering the area. There's no way that someone will not notice. The scent is already pervading Darius's very hungry nostrils at this moment. The scent of blood is, while disgusting in its source, is the antithesis of disgusting to his senses. The rife blood. He knows it's tasteless. He knows that there won't be anything there. The rat souls amount to a drop in the bucket as far as things are concerned. But his beast, however, any port in a storm. Would you be so kind as to roll 1/3 your humanity and unspent willpower for me, please?
Oh, unspent willpower? Wow, that'd be fucking great to have, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Darius and Cotton, they're the ones that need to be rolling frenzy rolls right now. That'd be
double, 2 successes, baby!
And lifted though he is on the wings of need and want, he manages to suppress that voice that is driving him forward. His hands twitching at his side as he could not even have to climb down. He could just drop right on top of them and slurp them up as if they were earthbound sushi. But he manages to stay himself. He manages to hold still.
I just had the mental image of Cotton coming back and finding Darius licking the concrete. Oh.
Not now, not now. Later, we have people for this. They're willing and waiting. Not now.
And while Darius has his moment of understanding as to just how low his beast will make him go, just how much it would give away for just one drop, one drink, one joyful indulgence in any blood. Connor, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus athletics?
Woo. Is this for making contact with the enemy or catching the enemy?
Oh, it's going to be definitely a catch, but we'll hopefully roll high enough that it is in fact a catch and not just a miss.
So that means rouse there, baby.
Oh, I already roused. My strength is already perked.
Oh, I thought that only applied to one check.
Nope. It's
Oh, shit.
It's for a team.
So you're already a what?
I'm already at 4 strength.
All right.
I am 4 strength, 4 dex, only 1 athletics because guns are light
Horses are strong.
and horses are strong. Exactly.
Wait a second.
Do I include the fleetness or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, oh boy, I wish I knew that. Oh, that's a willpower right there. Spend it. Do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
That's a lot better.
Oh.
No, it's not. It's not better. It's not better.
Oh no, it is not in fact better. There are some things and some places where success is a double-edged sword. There are some things that are not designed to be hit. There are even more things that are not designed to be tackled. And while Cotton is not the largest man that there is, he is long of limb and he is raw-boned enough to be solidly built for his thin, rail, death specter height. And there still is a lot of force and momentum behind all of that undead flesh colliding with the most fragile, empty-boned, bird-like creature that has ever been bipedally near him. When he hits the trench-coated figure, sending it flying into the air, it is a struggle to wrap his arms around it that they are so actually thin. And in the doing, as they collide with the ground beneath him, there is a crack. And you're sure that something is broken that is not part of his body. Looking into the scarf-covered, scarred visage beneath all of the rags that have been accumulated over the years, there is a... And Cotton is a little bit ashamed of himself. There's a revulsion that takes hold of him. In the doing, in the tackling, he has gotten quite close to this being. And there is nothing remotely positive about the olfactory slap that he is gifted. He smells years of filth. And despite his modern aesthetic, him attempting to embrace the modern world, there's very much a still 18th century mindset when it comes to filth. Filth are for the deplorable, for the evil, those who have been shunned by God himself. And to smell that scent, which he has not had the pleasure of in easily 8, maybe 9 decades, as indoor plumbing and deodorant and all manner of parfums and perfumes have proliferated society. This is the stench of something that is the antithesis of society and the antithesis of God's good grace. It smells like the backside of Beelzebub himself.
I can only imagine how I'm experiencing this.
You're high on rat blood. I don't know.
Not yet.
In the moment of revulsion, do I confirm that it is the quarry?
Oh, it is definitely not the quarry. It is, in fact, the most despicable and deplorable human you have ever had the joy of running afoul of. They are clearly malnourished. They are clearly overwrought, and they have clearly based on the fact that you heard that crack and you didn't hear a yowl of pain. Their eyes large and the trembling beneath your grip, letting you know that they did feel it. But there's not the typical response. There's no yelling, there's no screaming, instead you hear a chittering beneath the scarves. You hear a squeaking going on as they are calling for help.
Oh, it's some kind of fucking rat king. God damn it.
Hell is a rat king? Just, if it's not the one we're looking for, dispose of it.
I'm assuming that, given the difference in our size, that this not Emmy thing that I have found is light.
Extraordinarily so.
As I get up, I grab it up, and I'm going to refer to it as an it until it speaks. And as I lift it up, I leaning close. Don't say a damn word and call off your friends before I feed you to one of these damn engines. And walk it back.
Would you be so kind as to roll your charisma and intimidation? You automatically have one success.
Man, you're just really pushing all my buttons today, aren't you?
Do it. You know you want to.
No, because if I blow this, I'm gonna fold her like an envelope, or fold it like an envelope. My intimidation specialty is stick-ups, not extortion or blackmail. I'll take a win.
Potato, tomato, you got this.
Come on, man. 50-50 chance that you get 3 successes.
I got it.
All right.
I rolled it.
Yeah,
you did. You did. You in fact did. There's something about pain that is not only educational, it is also informative. How someone deals with pain tells you a lot of what their true character is, what their understanding of the world is. Bearing pain and putting up with it speaks volumes. And it is clear once Cotton drags it to its feet that in the tackle, something in their lower leg went the wrong way as they're hobbling along, bearing the pain, chittering, and when you threaten to feed them to an engine, they stop. And as you're guiding them back towards Darius, they're hobbling, annoying you, because it requires you to actually keep a full grip on them, a full grip on that years of discarded living.
Yeah, I'm basically carrying them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the difference in their heights. But I'm trying to make some semblance of the idea that they might be walking and not being cradled like a child.
Weekend at Bernie's?
Yeah, that's currently the plan.
Yeah.
Neat.
And it means that your cloth, your clothing, your aura is soaking in their filth. Your soul is being manipulated and tortured by the presence that they bear. And that presence is one of something that has suffered so endlessly that hell would be a vacation from this world. Their spiritual malfeasance is absolutely 100% infuriating. Their lack of speech only adding to it. Their pained grimace and lack of speech only adding to it. It is as if they are here solely to frustrate and castrate you to the point of annoyance.
Cotton handles that oh so well.
Okay, so if this is an Emmy, do they know where Emmy is? Do they have any idea who the fuck Emmy even is?
Hold on. This one doesn't seem to want to talk much. And he glares. And the smell is slightly overpowering, but we do have an advantage of the seeming power this one holds. And I describe Emmy because I've seen her twice, so I've got a pretty good eye for what she looks like and is like. We're looking for this person. How this night ends for you entirely depends on your ability to assist us in finding her. So maybe you and your little friends could enlighten us as to how our night might progress.
And looking from you to Darius, who is standing atop the trailer, as if he is in fact the king of the pilot, as if he is the ruler and emperor of all that he surveys, as if he is Mufasa and Simba sitting at the top of the rock. The creature beneath Cotton's grip and control simply points toward the ugly, garishly, brightly lit building that is the center of this pilot, the store and restaurant. Its brightly lit facade filled with people milling about their nightly existence. You see what could only be a veritable unit of drivers, some drinking coffee, most on their phones and talking to the person nearest them. The staff looking very ghoulish at this hour of the morning, considering that they live a nocturnal life that most kindred have no choice but to. But for them, it is a matter of continued existence. This small little way station along the interconnected highways of the U.S. is nothing more than a blip to most people. However, the staff, the people that rely on it for their livelihoods and their families' well-being, this is a savanna. This is a source of continued life. And they go about their business as best as they can. You can see a few of the kitchen workers taking out trash, walking the 125 feet to the garbage bins, which are these huge compactor-styled waste management blue things, large enough to hide nearly everything, considering that it compacts everything into the smallest space possible until it's absolutely filled.
All right. Seems we're going to be searching a building now. Perhaps, he sees the girl limping, perhaps find somewhere to put her that's off her feet?
Cotton smiles and looks at the truck trailer. I think we have just such a place.
Sure. Whatever you plan to do, have at it. I'm very intrigued as to the origins and exact existence that we're looking at.
You mentioned that this door probably does not open from the inside. Well, if she is on the inside, we can almost be assured she will remain there until we are done. And
Yeah. I understand your reasoning.
I put her in and grab her chin so she can't look away, trying not to throw up in her face.
It is a difficult fight.
And just mutter, "Forget," and close the door on her and lock it closed.
All right. Now then, how to pursue on the next? I say as I'm kind of trying to climb my way down.
That's gonna be a picture of elegance and grace. I know it.
Oh no. Okay. So
You've seen far less graceful things over the course of your very long life, Cotton. It's just a difficult moment trying to discern exactly what is far less graceful than the sight of Darius's rear end descending towards you like the hand of God.
whenever I finally manage to complete my journey down from the mountain with the testament of the Lord himself, I'll turn and ask, okay, what are your ideas as to how to case the joint? Because if they're invisible and they're doing what Nosferatu do, if we go in there, we spook them, they will be long fucking gone.
Well,
actually, I don't think me and Emmy have ever met.
that is very... I have seen the young lady more than once. She will know me immediately and will smell me about 40 minutes earlier.
Alright, how about this? You take my jacket. This is a little too fancy for a truck stop. I'll go in and see what I can find, and what you wait outside and
Be ominous and such.
yeah, just look for a door randomly swinging open in the breeze. I don't know, man.
Well, that will be the indicator. It would be in keeping with what I've seen before happen.
Okay, cool.
Cotton takes the jacket carefully, touching it with only 2 fingers, and places it in the back of the Ford, so as not to spread the miasma that is his current existence.
I do appreciate your carefulness. I want to let you know that.
And Cotton is going to pretend to be a Ken. The way pilots are usually set up, the building faces out to where the cars gas up. There's a front entrance and a side entrance, and then there's the bathroom, the shower rental shit in the back. He's going to set up so he can see the front and the side entrance, and hopefully anything weird that comes out from behind, off to one corner, and smoke a cigarette near just leaning. So he's just going to be obnoxiously not moving anywhere, leaning against something, so that if Emmy sees him, she'll know and hopefully get spooked. But everyone else will just be annoyed that he's just hanging out.
And I will, after having defensified myself, probably even take a bit of dirt and dust and kind of place it in the locations that make it seem as if I have been walking down the road for a good while. Walk into the establishment and start seeing what I can see. Eventually, if not noticing anything out of the note or out of the ordinary, especially when filtering once again for the smell of latent blood, I'll approach the ordering counter.
Several things happen at once, as they typically do in this situation. There's just that sixth sense when you realize that you are being watched. There's that awareness that the world has its eyes on you, and worse yet, not just the world, but fate and all of its twisted sisters have chosen this moment to fuck with you. As you walk in and you realize that the truck drivers are about their business and the people who stopped in for gas are about their business, you realize as you're standing there waiting for the waitress's attention, who is ringing in a driver for Intamin's 7 freshly baked donuts so they have an idea as to what fresh pastries actually are. You glance around the area, and in the back table, in the back left corner, nearest the hallway towards the rental showers and restrooms in the family restroom area, is 4 clearly deceased individuals. You know them as deceased because that heroin chic, thin, almost human blush of life doesn't fucking work for the average Nosferatu. They're just passable enough for the living, breathing that polite people typically ignore them, which is exactly what's happening here. Except for they're not all Nosferatu. The third one and clear leader is being regaled by the most charred, beautiful version of a former living individual you have ever met. Their long blonde hair falling tastefully across their scarred visage as they regale, and you can hear. And it was at this point that Carmelita has decided that there is a reason why there should be more than one library. And it is the reason why I'm reaching out to you anarchs for passage, because there are so many more that I have not been made aware of, and I bring you information as to the elders of the Camarilla and how it might help you. Knowing how the beckoning works means that you might be able to stop it yourself.
There is this internal moment of set be praised as he walks in, and there are no real investigative hurdles to be overcome, and now it's just the ground game. He just looks over to this very blatant, very open display of here I am, and begins to understand how she got herself in this situation in the first place.
Now, it's true that the average person is ignoring the table because, well, you have these filthy, disgusting, potential lounge lizards who are not selling their wares currently. I mean, they're off the clock. But it's also, you realize that your heightened senses are still the residual effects of them, the ability to tap into things, and then the fact that you're focusing a little bit looking for such a person makes it stand out. It's like when you're driving a red car, you only notice all the many other red cars. And being a creature of the night and understanding what Carmelita is and what the Nielsen Library is, it's not just background noise to you. It stands out, especially as, even though Darius himself is not a Toreador, there's something strangely magnetic about the tale that she is telling. There's something strangely invigorating about knowing that there is information out there that can be used and exploited to stave off the coming Armageddon. There is something strangely alluring about the fact that even with her scarred and burned visage, that she is able to weave a tale and hold the attention and focus on herself. She is still a thespian.
Solid. So, at this, is there a glass display looking into this? Can Cotton see me moving through this building?
I can see you moving, but he can't see the back left corner.
I'll kind of look outside and just give a nod, and then continue walking forward, hoping he understands the signal.
Cotton understands. He's done this before.
So
Cotton repositions himself from looking at that one corner of the building around so he can see where Darius is seeing.
And it's right about this. Is there any room on this set of chairs or benches that they are at for, say, another thinly built individual?
Yeah, they're at an 8 top.
Solid. Then I'll just walk up, slide my way in without announcement, and be like, "So I heard you're looking for a way out via the Anarch channels."
And as she says, excuse me, and the softest lilting French accent reaches across in that just sheer moment of space, she makes eye contact with you, glancing out of the window and watching the specter of death, dressed as if he's an extra from Tombstone, appear. The other anarchs at the table, those who operate this station, look between the librarian and the J.C. Penney model, and you watch as the third, who is clearly security, stands drawing his shirt up, showing that he is in fact packing what looks to be a Saturday night special based on the fall wood grip. It would be painful being shot, but you've had worse done to you. The imagination as to what rat blood tastes like is enough to know that there are worse things than being shot in your mind currently.
Yeah. As they rise to alarm, can I be like, "Hey, whoa, we've got no problem with you guys. There doesn't need to be a problem, all right? We can talk this out."
Yeah, we can talk this out. Let's take a walk outside, tough guy. Come on, get on your fucking feet.
I don't think that that's best for any of us.
Look, there's two things that are gonna happen. Either you're gonna walk out, or I'm gonna carry you out. Now, how do you want to handle it, pretty boy?
That's the thing you don't understand. I'm saying the reason why we should stay inside is because who is outside makes that a far worse place for you to be.
He looks from you out the window and back.
Cotton smiles big. This is his intimidation area.
So that's how we're gonna play it? Fine. And the guy pulls the gun from his waist, aims it toward the sky, and fires. Everybody on the fucking floor! This is a robbery!
Wonderful. I assume there is now mass panic.
There is. People freak out. Those who have been robbed before immediately start running towards the door. The staff drop into position because they know how to survive a robbery. Give them what they want, stay the fuck out the way. However, there are still kitchen members outside at the garbage. There is Cotton outside, and there is mass panic. You watch as the restaurant, and we stretch the definition of what that word actually means in this case, erupts in the panic that only comes from a cultured society who understand that guns are dangerous, but very few have ever had anything but the news reports in regards to how bad things are, and they take off for the hills like a disturbed anthill. People are running to and fro, trying to get out of both of the doors on the, well, to their left and to their further left. What are you guys doing?
Well, so long as Emmy doesn't try to move, I'm fine where I'm at. It really depends on how she reacts to this.
And Cotton is keeping an eye on Emmy because he has a vague understanding of what Nosferatu can and can't do with that whole blinking out of existence bullshit. So he works very hard, a Mark I eyeball on her, and just lets the human panic wave come out the door because he doesn't care about them at all.
So as they're brushing past and running out, scrambling like they've heard the best joke ever, Amy leaps to her feet, which is saying a lot. She is frail, small, and she begins running towards the restrooms.
Okay, I will give chase.
Cotton swears.
As best I can. I'll kind of like motion for Cotton to go around the side rather than coming in through, in case there's a fucking window or something.
Yeah, Cotton swears and just beats feet to go around the side of the building.
But just as I'm passing the three anarchs, I'll just say, it didn't really have to be this chaotic.
You speak to the empty seats where the anarchs were, as you realize that the panic was for their escape, not Emmy's. They made off with the books and journals that she was offering. From what you are aware of, Emmy was offering knowledge on the beckoning as her passage.
Solid. Awesome. Okay.
And as you race toward the bathroom, which we still kind of go ahead and, because this is literally a foot race, it is a all-out dexterity athletic sprint, because despite her size, despite her frailty, she is as unathletic as you possibly can believe, and she takes off, which it's, you know, a wondrous thing to watch. You gotta love it. The effort is there.
I want you to pray for me, okay, Cotton?
Because it's going to be the world's least physically able Nosferatu against the world's least dexterous.
I need you to understand, okay? Just all the prayers in your heart. Nobody. May I fuck up and test whether or not I'm going to Hunger 4 for this?
Yes, you may.
Fuck me.
And just like that, you are back home. Not your apartment in Westphalen, but you are back home. Your father is standing over you, the rod of education in his hand. And it really, in fact, is a rod. It's no wider than his thumb, but it is a reed no wider than his thumb. And much like bamboo, there's a springiness to fresh reed that makes it a perfect implement for instruction. Once more, Darius. You say that you were not responsible, yet you were the only person that everyone saw there. How is it that you, the most notable, the most legendary of children, were not responsible? And as you open your mouth to speak, the truth, something else takes hold. The truth will not set you free. The truth will damn you. That reed will fall over and over until your skin, your beautifully burnished skin, will be bright red in a multiplicity of locations. And from your mouth. But Papa, I was only there to watch Mother and her boyfriend. The shock that rockets across his face. The pain that sits there stops the reed dead in time. It's as if the reed itself is hovering in space as your father whirls on his heels and exits the room. And it's not the first time or the last time when you learn that the truth is a damning thing. But the perfectly phrased and stated lie, there's nothing but opportunities for growth there. The escape of pain. And you know, if Emmy has connections with the Anarchs, letting her go, charging her just a small sip of her dirty Nosferatu blood, could be a beneficial thing for you. Because unlike the humans all about you, doing so would hurt her so severely that she would be broken enough to see the truth in things, the real freedom that's possible.
So what I'm hearing is, you're phrasing this in such a wonderful way to test one of my tenets. Thank you, nobody. So my current goal, as is given by, the god himself, Set, is get a little bit of that good from Emmy and let her go.
The restrooms don't have a window. And if you keep her inside, she can't disappear. And who knows how long it'll take Cotton to fight through the humans that are fleeing like crazy, giving you just enough time to accidentally fail.
Cotton, I am sorry about this, because nobody has challenged my one Setite tenet.
Oh, hey.
And I made a promise to myself that tenet.
You do you, baby. Cotton just needs a body. That's all Cotton needs. So if it's a pile of dust in a Ziploc bag, it's fine.
Okay. So as he... Well, I guess I should make the roll then to see if I even fucking do my thing. 3 successes, whatever that results with me. 69 on my blood die.
If you were in a different mindset, if you were able to watch this world's slowest foot race into the restrooms, you'd find it a little bit laughable. It's like watching the Indy 500 done on tricycles. It is extraordinarily lacking in speed, velocity, and the intention, though sound. Neither of the two individuals involved in this particular chase are extraordinarily skilled. However, Set himself has decided to grace you with grace, with speed, your long limbs eating up the ground as she rushes into a stall with you right behind her as it closes behind you. Now, normally it would have been a great disappearing act because she would have entered the stall just ahead of whoever was chasing her and disappeared. And it is clear that was the intention because she immediately is standing on the commode and realizes that you can see her. I don't want to use this. And she fumbles and pulls out a roughly 1.5 inch long blade from the sleeve of her shirt. You gotta admit that she's relatively stylish for someone who's been horribly disfigured by fate, time, and social perception. The hoodie, you realize, is actually a designer, a known designer. This is from one of the notable toreadors that you met throughout the city, Andres. He runs a shop that, well, many of the higher-ranking members of the court visit. His skill apparent in the fact that the hoodie that she's wearing drapes and holds her form makes it almost, if you ignore the charred, burned fingers and the face that looks as if it was painted in ash and scar tissue, enjoyable to look at. The pants equally so stylish. It is as if there is some portion of their pride, some portion of themselves that refuses to give up the fact that during life they were clearly an attractive young woman.
Okay. As I burst into the stall and they awkwardly pull out their blade, I'll just decree, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't come here with the intent of hurting anybody. Look, how about this? You and I, we make a small deal. There's a very angry man coming in to do some very terrible things to you. Me, on the other hand, I'm not what one would call the perfect anarch, Setite thing, whatever it is you'd like to describe me as. So, you help me, I'll help you.
But you cannot help me. They are coming for my blood. They will stake me or do worse like they did to Talbot. How can you help me?
You close your eyes and give me your wrist here, and afterwards I'll close my eyes and you can get out.
You think you can trick me with the promise of me willingly giving you the opportunity to diablerize me?
I'm a Setite, sweetie. The tower isn't exactly my favorite place.
Would you be so kind as to roll your charisma? And there are several ways you can go about this. Are you going to attempt to simply bully her into it? Or are you just going to persuade her into it?
Well, nothing of what I just emoted there seemed rather forceful. It seemed more on the lines of, hey, I'm pretty desperate for something right now, and you're pretty desperate for something right now, so why don't we just come to a equal point here?
And are you being genuine in the idea of the opportunity of her being let go?
Not for the reasons she might be imagining, as it will apparently give opportunity to completely fuck her worldview and offer her that much more freedom.
Okay. Well, in that case, that very much sounds like your attempt to persuade and cajole, to lightly nudge instead of push or batter about the head and shoulders. You'd be so kind to go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion.
Alright. Would I be able to add awe on this?
Unfortunately for you, yes, you may.
Beautiful. You gotta love it. Oh, that terrible fucking thing. Okay, and this is gonna be at Hunger 4. Fuck me. 4 successes.
Something so desperate. Something so clearly dubious would normally set off all manner of alarm bells in everyone's head. In fact, you can't wake up or resurrect yourself for the night without there being someone somewhere in the world believing that you are up to no good. While they are right, it is no reason for them to prejudge you without at least giving you the opportunity to get up to that dastardliness for the evening. However, in their desperation, in their need for understanding, in their hope, which is a most dangerous weapon, Amy steps off the commode. Well, then hurry up about it. I suppose we must be quick. I don't know how soon that stupid hound Cotton might come in.
The moment there is an offer of flesh, there is no hesitation. Immediately biting in as deep as I can. This is a very fervent, very hungry man right now. The last time he was at Hunger 4, he ended up fucking a priest to death.
Speaking of which, would you be so kind as to roll 130 humanity plus your unspent willpower? Your difficulty is 3 as the vitae coats your lips and slides across your tongue. Your toes curl in your shoes, and you realize just how delicious kindred vitae is. It is all that blood is, plus the added oomph. It is like drinking Red Bull with Red Bull.
So Set really smiles upon this decision, nobody.
You manage to stave off that most debilitating of drives, the want and need to drain her completely dry. And as you're not being gentle, the normal pleasure that the kiss elicits is only ratcheted up, because it is clear that the moment that your lips connect with her skin, that it has been so very long, so many years of being untouched, or worse, being viewed horribly for her, that while the kiss should not be as efficacious as it is more the idea of actual touch, the milk of human comfort and kindness, the moment that has been so desperately wanted and avoided by many. There's a notable sensitivity to it. There is a clear, bittersweet sadness that comes across the vitae. It's been so long since they've been trusted. It's been so long since, and Darius realizes as he guzzles and gulps down the vitae, that it is the liquid essence of what it means to be a Setite, a known Setite by any other experienced kindred. It is the open aloneness that comes from it, the prejudiced ideals that hang over his head like the sword of Damocles, while at the same time wrapped around him like Marley's chains. Her vitae, while lacking actual resonance, has been so tainted by their desperation and loneliness, it is liquid insanity. And the light that's released when your fangs sink down is enough to cause a small rivulet of vitae-tinged tears to slide along your cheek. And speaking of vitae sliding along, the sheer cattle-like effects of the humans, the mortals, fleeing from the threat of violence while creating their own panic violence. It is not the first time that Cotton has been made aware of just how animalistic the average person is. You watch as one young lady who is carrying her toddler is knocked bowled over as another brave individual, a hardy, healthy truck driver, decides to make his way to his truck, and the number of engines starting and cars shifting into gears is annoying in the screech behind him as he circles around the building and realizes there is another door.
Cotton is all about the back entrance to this shower, rental shower / bathroom / temporary bathroom that truckers use. And while trying not to, may inadvertently take it off its hinges, kicking it in.
I've had a few experiences with battering rams and throwing things off of their hinges that lead to very unfortunate scenarios with whoever the fuck was behind it, but we'll see how this plays out.
Oh, it is exactly that. It is exactly horrible. The clatter and shattering of the door as Cotton's already raised, his supernaturally supported strength sends the wood flying like shrapnel, like fletchets from Nick Fury's original gun. It is a explosion of awesomeness as the Spectre of Death enters into this calm, clean, pristine restroom. Most kindred don't realize just how quickly and how fast time passes when engaging in their most needed hobby, the gaining of sustenance and succulence from the blood. What feels and felt like a matter of seconds, you realize it had been minutes as he greedily gulped, and Emmy's addiction and need for touch has granted them far less time than expected, as the explosion of wood and Death's younger brother stands in the doorway watching this tender moment. Where is Cotton's hunger, by the way?
Cotton ate well at the beginning of the evening.
Yeah.
Cotton made plans.
Hey, I had plans. They just got foiled.
Oh, there are plans and then there are plans. Man makes plan, God laughs, and none of that changes for a kindred. Because as the moment is drawn to a most coitally interrupted specter of itself, Emmy looks as if you've actually betrayed her. You monster. And she backs away, even though there's nowhere to run. To get back the way she started, she'd have to tear through Darius. To get out, she'd have to tear through Cotton. Neither of those ideas seems possible. And in that moment of sadness that Darius has betrayed her trust, she says the most accurately destructive thing possible. Having torn away and not licked the wound, her vitae is still leaking. She looks at you and she says, "They were so right about you, Sentence."
I wasn't trying. No! Don't say that. Cotton!
Cotton pulls his gun. Evelyn comes out, pointing between the two, not at one specifically. Says, Darius, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear. We will discuss this later. Emmy, we talked, and I made you a promise. And then you ran and left me holding a bag. There's only two ways out of this damn bathroom for you right now.
So you're saying that you are not a man of your word, just like this Satite. You are saying that you would do me harm instead of giving me the opportunity to defend myself?
I'm giving you that choice again because you obviously had.
And she leaps at you.
What? She spits at me?
She leaps towards you, the knife which she had not slipped away, rushing forward, the idea to stab out your eyes, to cause as much grievous harm as possible, to take her pound of flesh into hell with herself.
I catch her in midair. Please! And if she stabs me, she stabs me.
Wouldn't you be so
But
good? Go ahead and roll your strength plus brawl.
You know, at some point you gotta let me use Dex. I'm just saying. Just once.
Are you gonna dodge? Are you gonna leap out of the way?
No, I'm gonna catch her in midair and.
All right, strength plus brawl. All right, strength plus brawl.
Stop narrating things like you're a strong man if you don't want to use strength.
Well, I was hoping she'd, come to her senses eventually. She sounded like she was capable of it before, but fuck me.
She's trying.
The only reasonable kindred in the goddamn room, I guess.
What? I'm extraordinarily reasonable. Don't say that.
Well, she's trying to. Fuck you.
Hey, spend that willpower.
No, I'll risk it against her combat ability.
Are you so sure about that?
Come on, Cotton. You've literally got a limitless fount of willpower 3 feet from you.
I just want to make sure that you are okay with that roll.
dude.
Yeah, she jumps at me, and I grab her out of the air.
Bonjour, sir. Bonjour.
I'm gonna get stabbed by an 1.5-inch knife. I think I can manage.
There's just insult to injury on top of injurious insult. Because as she leaps, you attempt to catch her out of the air. Unfortunately, she's not a flying target, and you are not using your gun. You're not using anything more than your ability to be fast. And having roused the blood, having caused your vitae to course through your being, adding the beast strength to your own, instead of grabbing Emmy out of the way, you move forward far too fast for someone who is as ploddingly slow as Emmy. The smack that results is almost as loud as the sound that is made when she comes crashing into the hard, packed concrete floor. It is the sound of pain. It is very much an insult on top of other things, because you were attempting to catch her, to hold her still, to keep her safe, but moving as fast as you were and as slow as she's moving, it is impossibly easy to mistime that fact. It is impossibly easy to send the light, small librarian crashing down like a brick wall. And it is horrible. The look on her face looks as if she has been slapped by a very tall man who has been graced with supernatural strength, because she has.
Woman, I have had quite enough of the problems you have been causing me for the last 2 days. Call an assassin on me, then rile me with kind words about how you will face the consequences while all the time...
I did not call the assassin on you. You were on the watch list. I had no idea he might try to kill you.
Shut the hell up. He grabs one of the bigger chunks of the door and pins her to the concrete floor.
Well now, that is a cold shot for a staking. You are aware of the system and the mechanics in place. Please go ahead and make that roll happen. Your DC is 0. Make it so.
It is
your total DC is 5, but your target number to
it's dexterity, melee, potence if I had it right. I think. It's a while.
It has to.
I believe it's 1/2 potence, or is it full potence for a stake?
No.
Yeah, I don't have potence, so I don't have to worry about that part of it.
Oh, well then, why the fuck did you ask the question?
Because I'm trying to remember the mechanic is written in the book. Shut up.
What?
Wow. I got Darius to shut up. That's like a national fucking holiday.
He's going through a fucking emotional moment right now, you bastard.
that is a miracle all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are several comebacks that could have easily been had.
I'm assuming I missed the heart.
Yeah, just, ash her. That's always a way to, eliminate the threat.
I have an appearance to make.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
You do indeed. And unfortunately, 2 successes. Hurts like the fucking dickens. You have driven this shard of wood into a small and a physically ineffectual kindred who is no taller than the current average American 5th grader. The cry of pain that tears through the bathroom is shrill, high, and followed by a series of French profanities. Something about putain, and it is just a wall of invective as she reels, and the vitae-tinged tears stain her cheeks as she's trying to get away from you, the monster. They were so right about you, hound. You are only killers. Do it quickly, at least.
Oh, hell no, young lady. And he grabs the next biggest piece of wood.
Just fucking torpor her.
I am trying.
And failing. Come on. Just a fucking bullet will do it.
A bullet will not ensure it. And this time he places the stake in place and pushes it through.
At a
Strength plus melee plus 1. And are you going to dodge?
Dodge?
Yeah, are you going to dodge?
She's gonna try to stab me again?
She's going to do something. You're not entirely sure what she might do. And your speed will grant you the ability to all but do two things at once. So the question is, are you going to dodge? Are you going to focus on what is the matter
No,
at hand?
I am. If bite me, stab me, whatever, she punch me. At this point, I think the knife is probably long gone. But whatever she's going to do, Cotton takes damage. He's fine with that.
Spoken like a true gangrel. As what's that roll? Oh, it is absolutely horrible. You pierce the left ventricle. You don't pierce the entirety of it. You end up tearing a chunk out of her heart with the stab, driving it down into the floor, and you can hear it cracking and crumbling against the concrete beneath her. And she spits a wad of vitae-soaked spittle, the saliva sticking to your face. If she were a Tremere or maybe one of those Hakamites, you might be worried, but the fact that she, in her final or purportedly final act of vengeance, attempted to do something as trite as spit on you, lets you know how ineffective and ineffectual she actually was.
Nobody, you may have said that she's not a Hakamite, but she certainly did just hawk all over it.
So funny.
Yeah.
What's that scene in Saving Private Ryan where the guy tries to stop the Nazi from stabbing him in slow motion?
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, I just use her like a pushpin corkboard and stick her to the floor.
You do. In fact, you do. And if it was not in such a publicly well-lit venue, it would be easy to miss with just how charred and destroyed her skin is. The flesh beneath it, having boiled and bubbled due to the heat of the fire that killed her, is misshapen. She's, if properly clothed, quite shapely for her size. You wouldn't know from behind that there was anything wrong with her as long as you didn't see her hands or she was wearing long pants. However, this close, it is hard to discern the fact that as this stake pierces, the fat beneath the charred remnant of her skin begins to slacken. Those bright blue eyes dull. The fangs that were so viciously spewing forth all of the French profanities that make it sound quite actually attractive wither a little. They yellow almost instantaneously. The clothes seem larger than they should for her frame. The death that sits in her face seems all too accurate. It is with no small dawning realization that you realize that physically she was as much threat as being beaten with a bag full of air.
You just had to do it the bloody way, didn't you?
I had to do it the official way. I have amends to make that outweigh the needs of catching this one in a coffee can. I must make an entrance, and I must get out from under a bad decision I made a couple of days ago. This will go a long way.
Cotton, how many kindred have you shot?
Oh, Cotton's got Adeline. It doesn't have all the hash marks on it yet. I haven't made that adjustment.
Because normally when you shoot a kindred, they don't ash.
If they die, they ash. But if you shoot them, they don't always go to torpor. Stakes are 100% in that area. Gunfire, you could shoot Cotton for a while and he wouldn't torpor.
Yeah. So, mechanically, to explain what it is that Darius just said to you, once they are brought to full on their aggravated track, the next point of damage kills them.
Yeah. Cotton's gonna have a word with you about what he saw when he came in the room in a second.
Yeah, we'll deal with that later. All right, well, we've got her. Let's get her to the car and get the hell out of here.
I'm gonna assume that you came by other conveyance and that you will have to sully yourself by riding in my car once again.
I appeared via the mediums available unto one such as I, so yes, I'll need your car.
Okay, then, you're riding shotgun, you get to watch the Sleeping Beauty in the back. Don't touch her, and please, just for the sake of elegance, don't try to eat her again.
That wasn't a try, that was a success. So, what are we gonna do about the person in the back of the truck? The other truck, not your truck?
Well, she will be not remembering a great deal of what happened and be wondering why her leg is a little floppier than normal. I think it would be in poor taste to leave her in there, but I would not like to see who has let her go. I say we deposit our mission in my car. I will stop my car, drive up to the side of that truck. You will open, or you will unlock, but not open the door, and we will skedaddle, as my forefathers were kind of saying.
Yeah, but that broke quicker than a kindred should have.
I don't think it was a kindred. There are things outside of our nature that I have seen once or twice and heard of more than a dozen times, and I would recommend we not paddle in that river, given the current state of things that we are dealing with.
Whatever you... Look, man, you're the combat expert. If you say don't fuck with it, I'll not fuck with it, but, a kind that can talk to rats is kind of weird to me.
The freaks are out there, man, and they will mess us up in ways we are not prepared for, considering everything else we are fighting. I'd prefer not to add another problem on the prince's plate right now. She's dealing with enough.
All right. A trade deal. Let's actually leave her locked up. I have somebody that may be interested in it. They'll come and unlock it for us. And if it really is something dangerous, then they can get out of there themselves.
If you think right now you're in a position of strength for a negotiation, I would dissuade you of that idea. But if you wish to add to the debt, that would be fine.
Debt? Now, carry her over to the car, and while we're doing that, you can explain to me what exactly you think my debt is.
Nobody said nothing about feeding on it. They wanted it caught and brought back.
And there are no laws in the Camarilla against feeding on someone who's willingly offering.
There is social stigma.
Yeah.
And it is a reality that you're going to have to deal with. And I would prefer you not have to deal with it.
Cotton, do you not understand the social stigma I already deal with?
I would prefer not to have to add to it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But if you think you have somebody who can deal with a rat catcher and everything that might entail, and I would have you seriously consider that idea, This is a problem of the weird variety, not the Anak Sabat fighting each other in the streets variety.
Yeah. What I'm saying is I have someone who might be interested. I'll give them a call. I owe them a bit of a favor, and this might be of interest to them. If it isn't, we'll let them out and get the fuck out of here.
Here's the thing.
What's up?
As you two have been conversing, as you make your way over to the fort, across the parking lot, past the truck, and are securing Emmy in the back seat, there have been several questions as to the provenance of this particular pilot. There have been several questions as to the provenance of this little, small, nothing town in the middle of nowhere on the side of nothing. Despite all the violence and the threat of violence that caused the stampede and the harming of the innocents that were in the pilot simply enjoying a very greasy patty melt or a lovely freshly made Reuben, there should have been police. There was a robbery in progress. The night is absolutely still. The few vehicles that were idling, i.e. the truckers in the back sleeping with their doors locked, are still idling. The others who were inside the pilot, having taken off for points due anywhere but here, would have most assuredly reached out via their phone to call the local police. And if not the local police, at least the stadies who patrol the area. And this is right off the expressway, so it is fairly well within their domain to get to quickly. Yet, as you've exhausted quite a few moments drinking, staking, kicking open doors, there's not one siren in the night. The parking lot is devoid of flashing lights. And as you get Emmy into the back seat, that realization dawns on you all. The average response time in the entirety of North Carolina is 10.44 minutes. It is a total response time of just under 6 for an active shooter or a violent crime in action. If someone reports a gun, the police are there within an average of 6 minutes. You passed that 6 minutes mark about 4.5 to 5 minutes ago, and still no sirens.
Okay, scratch whatever plan it is I just had. There is something really fucked up about this area, and the fact that whatever that is here. You're right. Weird shit. Not my ballpark. Let's go.
As I used to say, not my monkey, not my circus. Let's get the hell out.
Yeah, Occam's razor demands the simplest answer, which is GTFO.
Cotton tosses Emmy in the back. Be careful not to dislodge said piece of door.
Which one? The first one that you put in there, or the second one you put in?
I'll say both, just cause. And with a head shake reminds Darius to keep an eyeball on it. I wouldn't trust it in the trunk because that's where the other guns are.
As you start up the car, would you be so kind as to roll your dexterity and drive, because as you all are settling in to the front seat of the vehicle, there's something visceral about the sound of a large engine revved to its nearly highest revolution. There's something about hearing more than one of them, more than one large commercially available diesel engine rushing towards your location. Looking through the few open spaces between trailers and other vehicles that are still here resting, their drivers too asleep to be bothered by the stampede of people, you see the oncoming onslaught of a Ford fucking Ranger modified and lifted. Its tires wide enough to roll over most trouble. Its bumper reinforced with a cow prod, a full-fledged, almost bulletproof armor sheeting that is used to drive cattle, to push them forward, to not be stopped by their mass or their girth. by itself, it's laughable. The fact that there are 3 of them speeding into the area with clearly modified engines with God knows who behind the wheel of those cars and clearly displayed gun racks behind their heads. There's trouble, and then there's whatever the hell this might actually turn out to be, and none of it is good for you all.
What the fuck is wrong with this place?
Welcome to North Carolina, motherfucker. The South, we take our guns pretty serious. And Cotton finds first gear and uses it.
You refuse to spin willpower, my man. There it is. There it is.
All right, so to simplify.
Fucking worst timing, my guy.
Hey, everybody else is passing out. Cotton might as well join the crowd.
Okay, for anybody listening, that is a messy critical.
To simplify, there is fuck, and then there's the one that is doing the fucking. Your beast has decided that it will not be the one who is the bottom in this situation. There's no way they're going to take this lying down. They're going to have to fight for this ass. That much your beast has demanded. And as you spin out of the parking lot, cutting across roadways that were meant to go the opposite direction of where you're heading, that self-preservation rears its head. You're not sure exactly when the firearm entered your hand. You just know that usually a few well-placed shots as you are making your escape lessens one's haste to follow. And as the gun explodes in your hand, the bullets tearing through space and time and everything, zooming and honing down to one finite point. I need you to roll two more times to get completely wet, because with that messy critical and you firing into the windshield of the trucks that are following you, you have just started a fight with someone who is already determined to fight you.
Cotton.
Yeah. Try to talk to Cotton. I could use the extra dice.
Why are you shooting at them? Okay, no answer is not an answer. Okay,
Hold on, I'm typing.
I'm just gonna tuck myself down in this little seat here. If you get shot and we're about to go flipping off the road, please scream.
Welcome to the beauty of 1970s real steel construction. He picked this car for a reason.
Oh, whoa, buddy. Hey! There's one more roll left.
Okay, well, you stop talking so I don't get that die anymore.
Okay.
All right, so in the maelstrom, in the pell-mell, in the fracas of sheer unadulterated unwillingness to be someone else's victim, with one hand on the steering wheel, the other hanging out the window, firing back over your shoulder as you wheel between traffic, you manage to escape the pursuers, those who would consider themselves the hounds coursing the fox. You prove that this particular fox has teeth. You prove that it is, well, a few bullets laid in your backdraft is usually enough to discourage impassioned pursuit. And while they give it a college try, it is clear that they barely made it out of grade school, because after the cylinder is empty and you toss the gun to Darius to reload while you wheel between two truckers who have decided to trail each other and share the highway with absolutely no one, using a maneuver that would be illegal if anyone ever saw it. You literally drive between the two trucks as they are switching lanes, leaving just enough space for the car to skate through with just a scrape along the side mirrors. You nearly cause the drivers of the trucks to freak out, because they are sure that they are looking at a dead man and whoever else is in that stupid car with them. 4 usually means found on the road dead, but in this case, they're hoping that's not the case, that they're not the arbiters of your destruction. And you are sure that at least one of them had another heart attack and managed to hold on to the wheel of the vehicle as they ease to the shoulder. And it isn't much longer until you all are seeing the beautiful lights of Westphalen rising as you cut across the 17, back through the literal and into the lateral. Your destination is clear. Elysium's not over. You have a torpid, escaped convict looking all the worse for wear in your backseat. You have managed to deal with powers infernal. You have managed to escape a security force that is used to being the only bullies of any note. And without a shadow of a doubt, for the first time in a very long time, Cotton was fulfilled. His mission was a complete success. There's no askance or skew political view that could be taken on. You were tasked with bringing her back, and that's exactly what you did. And with that hanging over our head, I would like to thank you all for a lovely session, and I will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night.
Okay, I have real life to take care of for just a second, but